HarperAudio presents The Jailhouse Lawyer, written by Phillip Margolin, performed by Austin Cooper. Copyright 1998, Phillip Margolin. Production copyright 2008, HarperCollins Publishers. The Jailhouse Lawyer by Phillip Margolin. I'm Lyle Richmond. You're listening to Talk Radio. My very special guest tonight is 6'5", has a full head of wavy gray hair, steely blue eyes, and the squarest chin this side of Mount Rushmore. If I also said that he is wearing a Stetson hat, a bolo tie, and ostrich leather cowboy boots, I'd bet that most of you in my listening audience would guess that we're going to be speaking to criminal defense attorney Monty Bethune. He's visiting us just 1 week after winning a stunning acquittal for Iowa Governor Leona Ferris, who shot her husband in front of millions of viewers on national television. Welcome to the show, Monty. Thanks for having me on. Did your lucky outfit win the Ferris case for you? I wish it was that easy, Lyle. I give all the credit for the governor's acquittal to the jurors, who were able to see through the government's smokescreen and find the truth. I'm sure you had a little part in leading them through that screen of smoke, Monty. I try, Lyle. Our listeners will be pleased to hear that you're in our fair city on a book tour to promote your autobiography, The Best Defense. They can meet you tomorrow afternoon at Benson's Books on Comstock and Vine from 3 o'clock to 5. That's right. How's the book doing? The Best Defense is going to debut at number 4 on the New York Times bestseller list this Sunday. Congratulations. And I can tell our listeners that it deserves to be there. This is some terrific book. Thanks, Lyle. I wrote it to try and give my readers an idea of what it takes to try high-profile lawsuits. You certainly do that. The chapter describing the way you won that $40 million verdict against Dental Pro had me on the edge of my seat. My clients deserved that verdict. It was only by sheer luck that my investigator was able to prove that Dental Pro was using radioactive materials to make their dental implants. You were up against some high-priced legal talent in that case. It seems that the other side always puts its best lawyers against me. Sort of like those showdowns in the Old West where the young gunslingers would call out the fastest gun. You always beat them to the draw, though. Not all the time, Lyle. I've lost my share. I even talk about some of those losses in my book. The Chicago Strangler case. That's right. There was a case where I was definitely outgunned by a bright young DA. That was Everett Till, wasn't it? The current governor of Illinois. Every time we meet, Everett thanks me for putting him in the State House. Is Till the best you ever went up against? Whew, that's a tough question to answer, Lyle. Is that because you've been up against so many hotshots? No, that's not the problem. Everett is definitely the lawyer who tried the best case against me, but he's not the best person I ever faced in court. I don't get you, Monty. The best person I ever tried a case against wasn't a real lawyer. He was a jailhouse lawyer. What's a jailhouse lawyer? A con. Someone who learned his law while serving a jail sentence. You mean a crook? Exactly. But this fellow was one very smart crook. I sense a story here, Monty. One that didn't find its way into The Best Defense. You've got me there. I guess the problem is that this story is a little embarrassing. Spill, Monty. I'm sure all my listeners would love to hear about a convict who could get the best of the best lawyer in the USA. Okay, Lyle. I don't mind telling tales on myself. And this case was tried when I was still a little wet behind the ears. Not that I would have seen what was happening even with all my experience. Let's hear it, Monty. Okay. Now this happened in 1970. I was 2 years out of law school and 2 years into my stint as deputy district attorney in Portland, Oregon. You're a little young to remember those days. The war in Vietnam dominated everything. Then there was Black Power, Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King had been assassinated, and every day brought more riots and protests. I guess you could say that there was general chaos across the United States, with the exception of the Multnomah County District Court, where I was stuck trying shoplifting cases.